Welcome to Cox San Diego Connection. Our topic today is sustainability and conservation. How does this community and its residents become aware and passionate about our environment? Our first guests are working hard to make sure people understand the need to protect and conserve our natural resources. We are honored to have Sheriff Hutsell with the Ocean Discovery Institute and Congressman Scott Peters, who is a huge supporter of the Institute. Welcome.
Thank you.
Sheriff, why don't we start with you? Tell us about the Institute and how you got involved with it.
So I am very honored to be the founder of Ocean Discovery Institute. Started the organization 14 years ago, quickly supported by a lot of avid people like Congressman Peters getting involved, and grew the organization to really be an organization that uses education as a tool to engage young people and to ultimately transform their own life and then their community and our world as science and environmental leaders.
Congressman, what drew you to the Institute and what made you want to just be a part of it?
Well, I met Shara back when I was a young council member in San Diego, and we were looking for ways to help support science education around the ocean. And Shara had founded this wonderful program that took kids who lived in the city, but maybe just a few miles away from the ocean, maybe had never even been there, not only took them to the ocean, but used the ocean as a laboratory to teach them science. And so today, her group has produced not just a bunch of scientists who've gone to college in a community that doesn't always send kids to four-year colleges, but an awareness in the City Heights community in particular about the importance of the ocean ecosystem to the world, let alone to the region. So she's done a great service, and I've always been a great admirer of her work.
Why is it important to empower young people and teach them about the ocean and just science? Why do we need to do that?
Well, especially here in San Diego, we're so fortunate because we have the ocean as such a part of our identity. And so we can use the ocean, I think, as a platform to really teach all the principles of science and conservation. And we can make a difference here locally, and we can ultimately make a difference globally, because as we know, today's sustainability issues are really global issues. And we need our young people to be the ones to develop the solutions for both today's and tomorrow's challenges.
Congressman, when did you discover that you had this passion for the ocean, for science?
Well, I practiced environmental law for about 15 years before I went into elected office, and really looked at, I understand that we're all dependent on the environment, and I've been looking for ways to make sure that people understood that, and then ways we could sustain both a healthy environment but also a healthy economy. I don't think those two have to be in conflict. So such an important part of that has been what Shara's doing at Ocean Discovery. Well, teachers all over, people who teach environmental science, but what Shara's done is it engaged a community that would typically not be engaged in this discussion. And in the environmental movement, we sometimes, too few people are talking about the environment. Most people are worried about paying their bills, making sure they can fill the car with gas, and putting food on the table. So Shara's expanded the discussion as an example here, and she's won awards nationwide from this, about how you can engage people who aren't typically engaged in environmental quality, how we can show that that's not at odds with economic prosperity.
The community we're talking about is City Heights.
Yes.
Why City Heights and maybe not something closer to the coastline?
So we've chosen City Heights as really the perfect community to do our work because of its challenges, but also because of its attributes. So its challenges, it has high poverty today, we have low graduation rates, but its attributes are immense. I mean, we have incredible diversity. So when we look at our scientific workforce and our decision makers, we need them to reflect the population of this country, not just a certain demographic. And so that's an incredible opportunity to have all of this diversity in that community. In addition, you have a lot of families that have come to this country to have a better education for their children. And so we have parents who are incredibly involved and kids who are really just ready to seek and seize every opportunity and make the most of it.
Congressman, I know a lot of your work was done before you got to Washington, and City Heights is not part of the 52nd District, right. But perhaps you're an example of why we need to get involved, even in things that are beyond our communities, beyond our borders. Why should we all do what you are doing?
Well, I mean, I think it would just be ignorant to think that I'm only serving the 52nd District. I serve a region, I serve our state, I serve our country. And we all have to think beyond these borders about where these connections are. we're all depending on each other. I mean, areas in my district along the coast, they just won't work, they won't be successful if City Heights isn't, and vice versa. I think we have to have that connection. So it's certainly something that Shara's done in a unique way, is to bridge the connection between City Heights and the ocean. You know, it's very natural in Point Loma or La Jolla or Coronado to think of the ocean, but not just think about it as recreation, but to think about it as you know, in terms of food, in terms of the environment, in terms of our own health, and in terms of science education. You know, science education, by the way, is one of the most important things for our country to do so that we can remain competitive in a brain-powered economy, a global brain-powered economy. And so Shara's teaching us and the rest of the country through Ocean Discovery Institute how you get those kids engaged who may not have been reached otherwise. So I'm excited about being part of that.
Well said. Shara, you asked the question, what will you discover? What do you mean by that?
What we mean by that is, what will you discover? What will you discover? Science for the first time? Will you discover who you want to be and how to become that person? Like Congressman Peters is saying, you know, these young people are discovering that they love science for the first time and that they can become scientists, and then they become scientists, and then maybe they're discovering how to make a difference in the world, so that you end up with what Congressman Peters just really understands and has conveyed, is that you're utilizing this as an opportunity to transform young people's lives, but ultimately that's what we need to benefit our region, to create the workforce for our biotech economy, our green economy that's burgeoning here in San Diego, and ultimately across the country.
Okay, we're halfway through, so don't go anywhere. After a short break, we'll continue our conversation with Congressman Peters and Sheriff Hutsell. Please stay with us.
Can you imagine if all young people understood how the world works and how they could make a difference? You can inspire the next generation of scientific and environmental leaders by getting involved today. I've been a proud student with Ocean Discovery Institute since I was 14 years old. Now I'm 24, a college graduate leading my community to protect our natural resources. Join us in engaging young people in science and empowering them to transform their lives. Visit our website and get involved today.
Have you ever noticed how much plastic you use on a daily basis? From your morning cup of coffee to that bottle of water, plastic surrounds us. We throw it away, but where is away? Much of the single-use plastic that we use makes its way into the ocean, getting stuck in circular currents called gyres. The sun breaks it into smaller pieces, but the plastic is still plastic with an unknown lifespan. Help us save our oceans today and stop using single-use plastic. Brought to you by New Ocean Blue, the splash without trash.
We're discussing sustainability and conservation. Our guests, Sheriff Hutsell and Congressman Scott Peters, representative for this 52nd District, have been talking about the Ocean Discovery Institute, which is doing amazing things here in San Diego. Congressman, tell us what you've discovered about yourself by being part of the Institute.
Well, I've really enjoyed the interaction with the kids. You know, they're a remarkable group of people, and many of them are first-generation Americans who are really excited about just this opportunity that we give to these kids. So, just the notion that I could show up and help out and shine a little light on where they could go. I was a capital campaign chairman with one of them, Rudy, who went to Hoover High School and was a member of the organization. So you had a congressman or port commissioner then, and Rudy, a kid from City Heights. The two of us were co-chairs for the capital campaign for the new building. It's been really exciting for me to engage those folks and to give them a sense that, you work at it, you have a lot of opportunity to get ahead, and that charges me up too.
You're a great role model for those kids, I'm sure. Now, Shara, a lot of your students are going on to places like UC Berkeley, UCLA, San Diego State University. You're obviously doing something right. Why don't we see more of this going on?
That's a good question. It's a lot of work. And, it takes a lot of people to believe in this kind of work and to really commit to it over time. And so we actually recently were funded by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to look at replicating the model in the Chesapeake Bay Area, as they also see this as something that really should be in other places as well.
Congressman, how do you get people to understand that It's a good thing to push our kids towards science and technology-based careers. How do we convince people that that's a good way to go?
Well, in San Diego in general, it's not hard to convince people. You know, we're the second or third leading biotechnology cluster in the country. We have Qualcomm here, which is a leader in telecom. We have a big clean tech industry. We have a lot of military security technology going on here. The jobs in San Diego, many of them depend on being educated in science, technology, not just in biology, but in other fields. It should be pretty evident to people. What we've tried to do, since I have so many employers, is try to get them engaged in showing these kids, speaking to these kids through places like Ocean Discovery about where the opportunities are. And then what Cher is doing so effectively is getting those kids to believe that they have a chance. If they can get education, they can get ahead. So it's a nice marriage to try to make. I think it's a natural place. San Diego is a natural place for that unity to come about.
Cher, give us an example of a student that you saw blossom and just grow.
Well, we have lots of students, of course, but I mean,
Scott
working with Rudy, I was going to say, which one? Oh, I was just going to say, well, Rudy, there's so many, but Rudy, who works with Scott, ended up following in Scott's footsteps and now is actually working for City Council here in San Diego. You've got other students like
Tran, was it Tran?
Tran.
So this young girl, I heard her give a speech. It was very compelling, and she said, and I'm 14 years old. I'm so mad at myself. It took me this long to figure out that I was interested in science, and I think she's going to stick with science based on that reaction. But she was just if you ever see these kids, if anyone has a chance to go see them do their presentations of what they've learned, it's just so impressive, and I'd recommend it to anybody.
I know you're just getting started. Tell us about the living lab that you want to build and get going. Tell us about that project.
Yes, so 7 years ago we came up with this concept, and Scott and I began working together then to create this vision of a living lab in City Heights, having this facility that will quadruple the number of students we serve, increase the frequency of how often students can participate, and really increase the quality of programming, as well as creating really a beacon of achievement and what's possible in the community. And so this is a project well underway, and we've got another couple of years left of work to do. Takes a long time, but it's worth it, and we'll be opening in 2016.
How do we get folks to get this thing going, get it off the ground?
I know, we've been asking each other that for a while. I think it's been a lot of work. The hard thing for most people is that if you haven't seen it before, it's hard to imagine. That's why this is such an innovative program. It's hard to explain to people, just how transformative this can be until you see the kids. So, what we do is we just spread the word. Things like this, we appreciate Cox letting us have a little time to share this news. But also, President Obama gave an award. I think, Sherry, you should tell the award you got from the President of the United States.
So yes, 2 years ago, we were incredibly honored to be able to receive the Presidential Award for Science, Engineering, and Mathematics Mentoring from the White House. So I, along with two students, got to go to the White House and actually receive the award, and I was able to go into the Oval Office and meet the President and really represent not just our students and their achievements, but the San Diego community that has really believed in this organization and this work and our students and made this possible. We started in a kayak closet. Yeah. So it shows you, I think it's a little bit, I felt very much the American dream standing in there.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, we'll end our conversation. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time and for all the great work that you're doing at City Heights and beyond and throughout San Diego.
Thank you. Thanks to
Cox. Thank you so much.
When we return, we'll hear from an agency that's doing great work to preserve the San Diego River. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Hello, I'm Sally Nelson, San Diego's 2012 Cox Conserves Hero. For the past several years, I've volunteered my time at Lakeside River Park Conservancy, alongside many other people who have a passion and a vision to preserve and conserve this area. With your help, this building will soon be the new San Diego River Field Station, a science education center where students like these can come and learn about science. Help us reach our goal and donate today.
Can you imagine if all young people understood how the world works and how they could make a difference? You can inspire the next generation of scientific and environmental leaders by getting involved today. I've been a proud student with Ocean Discovery Institute since I was 14 years old. Now I'm 24, a college graduate leading my community to protect our natural resources. Join us in engaging young people in science and empowering them to transform their lives. Visit our website and get involved today.
Welcome back to Cox San Diego Connection. Today we're talking about sustainability and conservation. How do we get people excited about preserving our natural resources like the San Diego River? With us now is Rob Hutsell, Executive Director of the San Diego River Park Foundation. Rob, welcome to our show. Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Well, thanks, Sal. The San Diego River Park Foundation was born about 10 years ago, and we're a very simple mission. It's simply to create a better future for the San Diego River and San Diego in general. And a lot of people don't know the San Diego River, even where it exists, but it's a 52-mile-long river that's really the birthplace of California even, and it's really our historic heart of our entire region.
I wanted to ask you about the river itself because most of us think it's just a stretch that runs through Mission Valley, but it actually starts way off in the mountains.
Yeah, it does. It starts up near Julian. Most people know where Julian is, and Cuyamaca Peak is what, over 6,500 feet tall. And so you think about all of that mountain area, then all the way down to the coast near Ocean Beach and Mission Bay Park. And the communities along it are things like Santee and Lakeside and Mission Valley. And it's this amazing area that literally millions of people are within, an hour or less, drive to. And it's of global significance, but yet most people don't know it even exists.
Mm-hmm. Tell us why we should all do everything we can to preserve this beautiful resource in San Diego.
Well, sure. First and foremost, it's our region's river. It's called the San Diego River for a reason. And so therefore alone, it's intrinsically of value to us. But beyond that, it's incredibly beautiful. You go up and there's 300-foot waterfalls, believe it or not, in San Diego along the river. It's just incredibly beautiful area. But it's also a place where it's in our daily lives. We drink the water from it. Most people don't realize that. When it rains up near Julian in those areas, that goes into our largest reservoirs in San Diego County. And when you turn that spigot on, it's more than likely some of that water came from the San Diego River. It's also a river that's considered globally significant for its wildlife. There's more plants and animal species here in San Diego than any other place in the entire continental United States. Imagine that. And it's an area where there's more species, those species we're talking about, that are at risk of going extinct than anywhere else in the continental United States. And so for those reasons, the river is something we all should care about.
Most urban waterways are polluted to some extent. What is the condition of the San Diego River?
It's kind of a mixed bag. But part of it's in really good shape. I mean, some of us think about the Los Angeles River, and if you've seen pictures of that, it's in a big concrete, channel, if you will. We don't have that. We have this beautiful earthen. It's dirt the entire length of the river, except for a couple roads. But it's got trash. Most people don't know it's there, so it's been neglected and abandoned and abused for decades, literally. And that's how we got started. The River Park Foundation set out to clean it up. And we have a trash-free river initiative, and that's one of the things we do, among other things. But we've done a really good job, and our volunteers have removed over, imagine, 1.6 million pounds of trash from the river now. But sadly, about 100,000 pounds of trash each year washes back into the river.
How do we get volunteers? How do we get people to come out and help you out?
Well, that's one of the things we love this program, so thank you. It's to get the word out, and once a lot of people hear about the opportunity and the need, people generally come out and we find they're interested. We need volunteers to help clean up the river, raise awareness about it, monitor its health, take care of it. As we're creating the park system along it and the trails, we need people to come out and care for it. And so we have a website people can go to, people can call us at our office. However they can get involved, we encourage people to contact us.
You mentioned the San Diego River Park System Project. What is that about?
Yeah, it's a really neat idea. When we first started, a lot of people said, river, what river? And we said, and so people really didn't feel attached to it. And we said, how about parks? Do you like parks? And people said, well, we love parks, of course. And so the notion was, what better way to create an affinity for the San Diego River than create a park system and trail all the way along all 52 miles of it. And so that's the idea. And if you imagine Mission Trails Regional Park, Mission Bay Park, I mean, those two things are part of the San Diego River Park system. I mean, it's really San Diego's 21st century Balboa Park, if you will. There's an opportunity to create something that's incredibly amazing and a gift to our future generations here. So the idea is a string of pearls, if you will, from Julian all the way down to Mission Bay, that it's all connected together by a trail and a clean, healthy river system.
Now you are, as a nonprofit, fundraising is key, but you're trying to use money to acquire land to help the river. How does that work?
Yeah, we set out a few years ago to identify some key properties that we would work with the landowners to see hopefully they would donate their properties or conserve them themselves. But in some cases they wanted to sell them for whatever reason, and we started to work with them. We've identified many properties, and we're down to the last 5 on our original list. And so we're on number 4 to go now, and one of those is in escrow, and so we're doing a fundraising campaign. This is the last piece of what we call our Eagle Peak Preserve. It's over a 500-acre wildlife and recreation preserve up near Julian. And so we're working to raise about $50,000 more. We've already raised over $150,000, and we're getting close. So any support from your viewers would be wonderful.
Now, another goal of yours is the Education Center in Mission Valley. Briefly tell us about it.
Oh, this is an exciting thing. Several years ago, we met a wonderful family, the Grants, and they have this 17-acre piece of property in Mission Valley that they've decided to donate to the community and to the River Park Foundation. In exchange for that donation, we've set out to create an incredible river education place. And it's going to be the premier river education center in all of Southern California. That's our goal. But also a neighborhood park. There's no parks in Mission Valley. There's no places to go to the river in Mission Valley. And here's our opportunity to create that. And we're about ready to go into permitting. If all goes well in the next couple of weeks, we'll submit our permit to the City of San Diego and hopefully look for an opening sometime September 2015.
Good luck with that. Thank you for being with us, and thanks for all the work you do for San Diego.
Thank you, Sal. I really appreciate it.
All right. After a short break, we'll hear and learn about I Love a Clean San Diego. Please stay with us.
The San Diego River is considered the historic heart of our region and a wildlife area of global significance. Thousands of volunteers join with the San Diego River Park Foundation to plant trees and to remove trash from along the river.
From Julian to Ocean Beach, this is an amazing place, and people are coming together to make it even better. But there's still so much more to do. Volunteer, advocate, or become a member. Join us today.
In partnership with Cox Conserves Heroes.
I can't wait to make new friends, to go on an adventure, to explore new worlds, to have fun. I can't wait to be a Girl Scout. Start the fun now. Join Girl Scouts today at joingirlscouts.com.
The Tijuana River National Estuary and Research Reserve is the largest coastal wetland in Southern California. Estuaries filter out toxins and provide flood control. They are feeding, breeding, and resting areas for a multitude of fishes and resident and migratory birds. The reserve has forged an unprecedented partnership with Mexico to address cross-border impacts. Come visit the award-winning Tijuana Estuary Visitor Center. It's a fun place to bring your family to hike and birdwatch, and it's free.
You're watching Cox San Diego Connection. Today we've been learning about the value and importance about preserving our environment. Here in San Diego, one agency has spent the last 60 years educating people about the value of conservation. We're talking about I Love a Clean San Diego. Pauline Martinson heads this wonderful organization. We thank her for being with us today. How are you?
Hi, doing great. Thanks
Super.
for having me.
Tell us about I Love a Clean San Diego. Give us a quick summary about it.
As you mentioned, we've been around for 60 years, and we've been empowering individuals to really take the health of their environment into their hands. And so we do that through education and also enhancement cleanup projects since 1954.
And you lead by example. What does that mean?
We do. We say we educate, not litigate. And so that means that we're talking to individuals, also youth, about how they can take some small steps each day to be more sustainable, to help reduce their waste and also keep our waterways, our beaches and our bays clean as well.
Tell us a little bit about your recycling education efforts as a way to reduce waste in our landfills.
Yes, so we, as I mentioned, we do a large education program throughout the county. And we talk about resource conservation, and part of that is the 3 R's, which reducing, reusing and recycling is the third piece. And so we're actually going a step further too to talk about repairing, repurposing, but the idea is to have youth be understanding what materials they're using and make better decisions, and also know how to either throw that away properly or recycle it.
Tell us about your efforts in the classroom. We're talking from the elementary school level all the way up to high school level. Tell us what you're trying to teach the youth of San Diego.
Yes, so we do almost 600 presentations a year, and about 500 of those are youth. We do almost an average of 16 presentations a week where we're going out to schools and doing classroom size presentations. And we're really talking to students about pollution prevention activities as well. So we found that after watching our presentations, they're increasing their knowledge about what are the problems in San Diego, and then they're also more likely to change their behavior and do the types of activities that really pollute prevention.
As a way to celebrate your 60th anniversary, you're having a lot of wonderful events throughout the year. One is a big one in April, the Creeks to Bay Cleanup. Tell us about how that works.
Sure, this is one of our county-wide cleanups. It's April 26th, Creek to Bay cleanup, and we have 2 a year of this size. This one we have over 90 sites throughout the county. So our agency is focused on county-wide, and so we'll have sites down from San Ysidro up to Camp Pendleton, out to Alpine and beyond, and also to the beaches and the bay sites. And what happens is, we have a 3-hour period where last year we mobilized about 6,000 volunteers, and they removed 100 tons of debris. So this is a huge impact that they're making on this one day, and we're really removing the debris and the recyclables that are out of the waterways with a focus on the inland areas to make sure to remove that before it makes its way down to the beaches and the bay.
You mentioned the 3 R's, one of them is recycling, and people often wonder, how do I get rid of an old battery or paint, electronics? How do you direct folks and give them advice as to how to get rid of this stuff?
It's another program we run, a referral resource, wastefreesd.org. It's online and also a bilingual call center. And we found that it's difficult to figure out where to throw your batteries, what items you can properly dispose of in your blue bin. And so we're just a phone call or a web click away to provide residents with opportunities to search by material and where they're at, on where they can properly dispose or recycle those items.
And we're talking about lawnmowers also, right, which is a big question mark, including for me. I have one that's leaking, and I'm trying to figure out a way to properly dispose of it or get it repaired, and you can help with that.
Yes, so we've taken it one step further with our recycling database and created last year a repair database. It's Repair SD, and so that's an opportunity for people who have a lawnmower or some sort of item that they want repaired. They can again log on or give us a call, and we'll let them know where they can do that. So we're the clearinghouse for those opportunities in San Diego.
Summer is just around the corner. A lot of holidays, unfortunately, a lot of trash. Tell us about your Clean Beach Coalition and what you guys do to keep San Diego cleaner than most days. Great,
I know. So it's a heavy traffic day with lots of visitors on the beach, and there isn't enough infrastructure currently to have everybody throw something away. So we do an education program where we're talking about packing out what you pack in, but also we're providing some temporary and infrastructural bins in this program. So we're putting out some temporary bins, recycling and trash, at all the popular beaches for the 3 main summer holidays. And it's a great collaboration with the police force and lifeguards and several other groups as well. So it works out great.
Briefly, best way to get a hold of you?
Is our website, cleansd.org. And I might mention we'd love to have people come out to our cleanup in Creek to Bay on April 26th, as well as come help toast our 6 decades of educating and really keeping San Diego clean at our 60th anniversary in May.
Pauline Martinson, thank you for being with us, and we do love a clean San Diego.
Thank you.
All the best to you. I'm Salvador Rivera, and on behalf of our guest and all the employees of Cox Communications, we want to thank you for watching Cox San Diego Connection, helping you learn and prosper.